The compact luxury crossover market has exploded in the last year with new entries from Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Infiniti, and even Cadillac.
And of course, this Volvo XC60. What makes this vehicle so unique is its very attractive starting price of just under $40,000. For people out there who maybe don't want to be driving a Volvo wagon or don't want to be sitting behind the wheel of something larger like the XC90, this is an excellent alternative. There are 3 different trim levels to choose from: the 3.2-liter 6-cylinder front-wheel drive, then the 3.2 all-wheel drive, and the top model is the 3-liter turbo called the T6. The base model gets 17-inch wheels and the other 2 models get 18-inch.
This Volvo XC60 shares the same platform as the V70 station wagon, but you wouldn't know it to look at it. It doesn't nearly look as long. It certainly is taller. The thing about this Volvo is it certainly isn't the boxy Volvo of old. No, this is a sculpted and flowing design that looks thoroughly modern.
The back especially has a unique, almost retro Volvo look that we first saw reintroduced on the C30 hatchback. Open the back and inside is a very big cargo area. It's almost deceiving how big it is in relation to the outside, almost an optical illusion. A power liftgate's only offered on the top model, and rear parking sensors become available on the all-wheel drive version.
Now this is a compact crossover, so we want to check space issues. The back door is fairly large, but it's the space getting in and out that's rather narrow. Now I can step in no problem, and once you're inside, it really is comfortable. The seats are soft, there's lots of legroom, plenty of headroom. It's getting out. See the space here between the pillar and the seat? It's not that wide, so your feet can get caught actually trying to get out of the vehicle. So you actually have to turn your leg this way, or you have to turn your leg this way. It's really not that comfortable. So if you've got 6'4" teenagers with massive feet, you probably want to go for the XC90.
Getting in the front? No problem. It really feels big and wide and open here, and there's lots of space. There have been a lot of good things said about the interiors of both Audi and BMW, but sitting inside this Volvo XC60, it looks really nice. The fit and finish is fantastic. There's a lot of soft touch panels, and based just on those looks alone, I'd be really proud to say I own this car. The base model has a great price, so cloth seats are standard and leather is on all other models. Speaking of seats, the front seats come standard with bum warmers, and the back seats can have heat too if ordered. The integrated child booster seat is optional on all models, but if you have small children, I'd definitely spring for this feature. Bluetooth is not available on the base model, and navigation is optional on the all-wheel drive and top T6.
Now, Lacey, there's something else I want to touch on to make sure you actually physically fit in the XC60, and it has something to do with the space between the accelerator and the brake, and I want to go on the record right now. There is nothing wrong with the accelerator. It's just the space. Now, I don't have big boots on, but I do have boots on, and the space between the accelerator and the brake really is quite narrow, and your foot can get caught on the brake pedal. Once again, if you've got big feet and you wear big, clunky winter boots, make sure that they fit.
What is up with you and big feet today, Zach?
I don't know.
You know what they say about guys with big feet, right?
Oh, yeah.
They have big socks.
You know what, this Volvo XC60 really does have nice power in this class of vehicle. The 3.2-liter 6-cylinder has 235 horsepower and 236 foot-pounds of torque. Now, if you desire more power, there is an option. You can get the T6. Now, that engine has 281 horsepower from a turbo 3-liter 6-cylinder, but it costs quite a bit more money. The starting price, just under $50,000. The model we have to test is the middle version of the XC60, the 3.2 all-wheel drive, which starts at roughly $45,000 and is on par with other compact luxury utilities in the marketplace. It has a lively engine with more than enough power to get this vehicle off the line, and it cruises with no effort. It makes me think, why would anybody need to buy the T6? There is one drawback to this 3.2-liter 6-cylinder, and it's the engine, it's the tone. It's kind of hard to describe. But when you're driving at low speeds on and off the throttle, it's got this kind of drone to it, which can be a little bit annoying. There is a way to get around it. First of all, you put more throttle into it, and that sound goes away. It actually sounds quite hearty. Or you just turn up the radio a little bit. This has an excellent stereo, and it all goes away. Now, this XC60 definitely has a chameleon attitude. Depending on what sort of mood you're in, you can set it accordingly. It's got comfort, sport, and advanced settings here on the console. Comfort's very relaxed. Sport can be a little bit choppy over bumpy roads, and I like the advanced, which really adapts to whatever you're up to. The vehicle is comfortable. The seats are oh so comfortable. One of the best features about Volvo vehicles are the seats. It's got lots of advanced safety. The closest vehicle I can compare this to is another compact premium crossover, and that's the Acura RDX.
One of the reasons the XC60 is so responsive is because of the 6-speed automatic transmission. It's a bit biased towards shifting into the higher gears in order to get the best fuel economy, but the great thing is that when more power is needed, you just have to lightly touch the throttle and the engine responds very nicely. The all-wheel drive model has an on-demand type system that sends 90% of the power to the front wheels to reduce load on the engine, but can shift the torque to a 50-50 split if needed. The XC60 comes standard with Volvo's latest safety feature. They call it City Safety. Now, this is a low-speed monitoring system and active safety feature. It works up to 29 kilometers an hour. City Safety technology can determine whether you're approaching a vehicle from behind too fast. If the driver fails to react in time, the City Safety will automatically apply the brakes in order to slow down the car, either to avoid the collision or reduce the impact if the speed difference is between 14.5 and 29 kilometers per hour. Sitting in the driver's seat, I feel like I'm driving a big vehicle, but I like it. I'm sitting up a little higher, so I've got great outward visibility, and with such responsive steering, it's really quite effortless to maneuver it in the city.
So at the beginning of the show, we asked the question, how does this luxury crossover compare to what else is in the market? What do you think?
Well, you know, Zach, it's interesting, but whenever somebody asks me what car they should buy or what cars I like, I never really think of a Volvo, but yet every time I get into one, I really enjoy it. For example, with this XC60, I really like the size of it. It feels a little bit more substantial, but you're driving a smaller vehicle. The interior fit and finish is absolutely gorgeous. The engine's got nice power, and what I really like is that it's got very smooth acceleration, both off the line and when you're at highway speeds. And with all the driving that I do in the city, the responsive steering makes it very maneuverable. And on the downside, there's really not a lot to say, but the radio display on the dash is really tiny, so it only displays one station at a time. Zach, what did you think?
Well, I like this vehicle a lot as well. And one thing we always touch on when we drive Volvo products, the seats are so comfortable, not only in the front, but in the back as well. And speaking of the seats, make sure if you have small children, you pay for the optional built-in booster seats. No more of those clunky booster seats to move around. It's a genius idea. The other thing is the dynamic ride. You can choose depending on how you feel, soft, firm, dynamic, whatever. It really does respond, and I agree with Lacey, the steering feels excellent. And the price really is attractive. Under $40,000 to get into this vehicle. One of the main reasons they've chosen this price is because BMW also dropped the price of their X3 to under $40,000. And the cargo area in the back is really quite large. It's basically on par with many mid-size crossovers. Now, on the downside, I did touch on the tone of the engine can sound a little bit drony, but just turn up the radio. And the other thing with this vehicle or any vehicle you test drive, you have to physically see if you fit. So if you have big feet, try them out with the XC60.
You know what else they say about men with big feet, Zach?
Oh, do tell.
They need big boots.
Want more? Check out drivingtelevision.com for expanded reviews and more automotive stories.